Have you ever, late at night, been seized by a sudden fear or memory, desperately wishing to wrap yourself in an impenetrable cocoon so that all malice, all betrayal, all disappointment, even those cold realities that merely brushed against you unintentionally, could not penetrate in the slightest? Have you ever imagined what a profound liberation and eternal tranquility it would be if you could reach that state where nothing can hurt and nobody can disturb? This wish is so tempting. It promises a world without tears, without heartbreak, without disappointment, without pain. A utopia built purely of happiness, peace, and undisturbed serenity. Deep within us, it seems, we all harbor such a longing that one day we can completely shed all our defenses because nothing will ever be able to hurt us again. However, my friends, let us pause for a moment and, with a hint of skepticism, examine this captivating promise. Nothing and nobody will ever hurt you again. It sounds like ultimate salvation, but is it truly so? Or is it merely the most fatal lie we meticulously weave for ourselves? A seemingly safe, yet in reality, a dream that deprives us of the deepest meaning of life. Mainstream psychology and popular culture often tend to tell us to stay away from pain, avoid conflict, and pursue comfort and security. They encourage us to build defenses, shield negative emotions, and regard not being hurt as a sign of success, a manifestation of a sound mind. It's as if once we can don an invisible armor, we can be invincible on life's battlefield, achieving everything effortlessly. This notion is deeply ingrained, becoming a kind of unwritten rule in our collective consciousness. Pain is the enemy. Safety is the destination. We expend tremendous effort for this, constructing psychological defenses, selectively socializing, and even resorting to self-anesthesia. However, the great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, a thinker who dissected the abyss of human nature with his shocking insights, raised a deafening warning against this widespread pain avoidance tendency from his unique perspective. He would mercilessly point out that the yearning for never being hurt again is not a symbol of strength at all, but rather a profound weakness, an escape from the essence of life. Nietzsche's philosophy is about the will to power, emphasizing that life itself is an overcoming, a growth, a continuous transcendence of one's own limits. True strength does not lie in avoiding falls, but in the ability to rise again after every fall, and even draw new leaps from it through inner power. He believed that life inherently involves struggle, suffering, and challenges. To reject these is tantamount to rejecting the vitality and profundity of life. For Nietzsche, pain is not a disease that needs to be completely eradicated, but an alchemical furnace, an indispensable tool for life to temper the soul. As he said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." But the deeper meaning of this often quoted phrase goes far beyond that. It means that what truly shapes us, makes us resilient and profound, are often precisely the hurts we have vehemently resisted, the experiences that have left us bruised and battered. A soul that has never been hurt is like an uncarved stone. Though complete, it lacks luster, has no edges, and even less, no story. Its surface is smooth as a mirror, but it cannot reflect the deep truth and complexity. The real danger is that when we try our utmost to avoid all possible harm, we are simultaneously and silently closing all channels to deep experience and true growth. We become afraid of taking risks, afraid of opening up, afraid of giving our true selves, because all these might come with the risk of being hurt. We live cautiously, as if in a glass dome, safe, but also isolated from real life. This extreme self-protection will ultimately cause us to lose the tentacles of deep perception, wither the resilience of the soul, and even blunt our profound understanding of love, beauty, and meaning. Do you truly know yourself? Have you ever paused to seriously examine the real motivations hidden behind your pursuit of never being hurt again? Is it a lingering fear from past traumas leading you to build high walls? Or is it a fear of unknown dangers that might descend in the future, causing you to choose self-confinement? We often think this is a wise form of self-protection, a mature self-awareness. However, in the abyss of psychology, this seemingly impenetrable state is often the operation of deeper defense mechanisms. It could be repression, denial, avoidance, or even dissociation. Think of the truly great souls in our history, those who interpreted resilience and transcendence with their very lives. Almost without exception, they were deeply wounded by fate, torn apart by reality and cleansed by suffering. They did not aspire to never be hurt again, but chose to face the pain directly, even transforming it into the light of life. Take, for example, the legendary Mexican painter Frida Kahlo. Her life was an epic of dancing with pain. At 6, she contracted polio, leading to the atrophy of her right leg. At 18, she suffered a horrific bus accident, sustaining multiple fractures to her spine, pelvis, and legs, undergoing countless surgeries and enduring lifelong, excruciating pain. Her body was shattered, but her soul was extraordinarily whole, even becoming more incandescent because of it. She did not escape physical pain, nor did she shy away from marital betrayals and romantic entanglements. Instead, she meticulously etched these profound sufferings, stroke by stroke, onto her canvases. Her paintings are filled with raw self-analysis, hearts pierced by nails, amputated bodies, tears of flowing blood, all stark evidence of her direct confrontation with pain. She did not seek a refuge of never being hurt again, but transformed the prison of her body into a sanctuary for the free expression of her soul. Her pain did not destroy her. Instead, it became the source of her art, making her an immortal symbol. Frida's example clearly tells us true vitality lies not in avoiding pain, but in coexisting with it, and even sublimating it into a creative energy. From a psychological perspective, this desire to never be hurt again often involves complex defense systems in its deep mechanisms. Our brain, in order to protect us from excessive psychological impact, instinctively activates various defense mechanisms. Denial is one of the most common, making us refuse to acknowledge painful realities. Repression buries unwanted memories and emotions deep within our hearts. Rationalization finds high-sounding reasons for our evasive behaviors. While these mechanisms can indeed bring temporary peace in the short term, in the long run, they act like thick walls built between our conscious and subconscious minds. The true danger is that these walls not only isolate pain, but also isolate the flow of genuine emotions, deep self-awareness, and the possibility of building true connections with others. When we no longer allow ourselves to feel hurt, we may simultaneously lose the ability to feel extreme joy, profound love, and pure, deep emotional impact, movedness. Because emotion is a spectrum, you cannot choose only a part of it while completely blocking another part. Attempting to sever the nerves of pain may ultimately lead to the numbness of the entire emotional system. Furthermore, this ultimate pursuit of never being hurt again leads us into a rigid state of existence. We become afraid to try new things because trying means the risk of failure. Afraid to truly commit because commitment means the possibility of being let down. Afraid of change because change means loss of control and uncertainty. We become like insects preserved in amber, losing the vitality of growth and the ability to adapt to change in seemingly eternal tranquility. The essence of life is fluidity and change, constant breaking and remolding. If life is a river, then pain is the rocks in its riverbed, the morely, grinding, tempering that washes away silt. Without these, the river would become stagnant, eventually drying up. True strength is not about turning oneself into an indifferent robot, but about possessing the ability to face pain, move through it, and ultimately draw strength from it. It is a profound resilience, a courage to embrace life in its entirety. It means daring to love, even knowing that love brings the pain of separation. Daring to trust, even knowing that trust can be betrayed. Daring to create, even knowing that creation might face the ridicule of failure. This is not seeking to be hurt, but acknowledging the inevitability of hurt as a part of life and choosing to dance with it. When we pursue never being hurt again, we are actually escaping a core truth. We are finite, vulnerable, fallible, feeling beings. This vulnerability is not a defect, but the backdrop of our humanity, the bridge that connects us to each other and allows us to feel the depth of life. It is precisely because we can be hurt that we can appreciate the preciousness of healing. Precisely because we can be heartbroken that we can understand the greatness of love. Precisely because we have pain that we can comprehend the depth of compassion and empathy. When we try to build a self that no one can hurt and nothing can disturb, we are actually constructing a lonely fortress, trapping ourselves within it. We might feel safe for a while, but this safety comes at the cost of authentic connection, deep experience, and meaningful growth. We become that self-deceiving king, sitting on a false throne, surrounded by a meticulously disguised peaceful realm, yet never having set foot on the true territory, never having experienced the true storms. True courage is not never being hurt, but moving forward with scars. True wisdom is not avoiding pain, but understanding its value. True freedom is not being free from all constraints, but having the power to choose how to respond to them. We all, in fact, are escaping reality.